because
Sure.
another thing that I think is sort of growing as like an accessible knowledge base in the larger cultural meme sphere is the mushrooms in the forest, you know, that the wood wide web kind of perspective, that mushrooms help trees communicate with each other. That's increasingly more sort of something that is known. And so I'd like to get a sense of what the sort of mushroom anatomy life cycle is, to get a sense of mushrooms inside forest ecology, which maybe gives a deeper sense of some of the different roles that mushrooms play to help maintain a living system with integrity and resilience, before asking you explicitly about how we might utilize some of those functions intentionally towards mycoremediation. So that's a big jumble of words. The question is something like the mushroom life cycle and the role of mushrooms inside forest ecology.
Yeah, it's such a broad question. And to really answer it, I'm not going to go, I can talk about this for the next hour, but I'll try to wrap it up as quickly as possible. To really answer that question, you got to start, okay, how did fungi even get here in the first place? And how did they evolve over, billions of years? So the first fungi ever found was 1 billion years old, and it was in low aquatic areas. The first terrestrial fungi, so on land, was found in the Congo about 820 million years ago. And over time, about 700 million years ago, they partnered with lichen or cyanobacteria to make lichen. So photosynthetic organisms like plants partnered with fungi to create almost like the early versions of plants. So we get lichen on this early form of our planet, and it's using energy from the sun and also degrading this rocky like planet into soil, right? And mining some of the minerals and creating soil. And then we get early adaptations of plants around 500 million years ago, and we get mycorrhizal fungi, which we were talking about, the wood wide web. And so this is fungi connecting to the plant roots of plants. And mycorrhizal fungi connect to over 95% of all terrestrial plants. And if they're not doing that, there's also fungi inside the cell wall of plants. So in the leaves, in the stems, in the shoots, and in every part of a plant. I like to think of plants as the mere puppet for fungi. And most people, they don't see that, right? They identify themselves with, I'm a single organism, I'm one human being, but we're like 95% other organisms, right? There's billions of other organisms that make up each human. And same when we look around us at plants, it's not just a tree, right? It's made up of millions, thousands, if not millions of other organisms, including fungi as a big part of that structure. And so mycorrhizal fungi help out the plant, and they have this symbiotic relationship of, fungi are mining different nutrients. They're helping absorb water and also hold water in drought situations, which can almost feed water, almost like a camelback, a little bit at a time in a drought situation. And in return, the plants are giving nutrients back to the fungi, and the fungi are protecting the plants against pathogenic invaders and other things. So that has been formed for the last 500 plus million years. And we really see it all over the world, in every continent except Antarctica, where we're still seeing fungi in Antarctica, but there's not many plants there. So it's not as in your face, but really they're helping store up to 70% of carbon in our soil, and really are the foundation of soil health itself, which in and of itself is the foundation of life itself. And not only that, they have an incredible ability to degrade lignin and cellulose and hemicellulose, which are the building blocks of plants itself. So there was a time where they're basically forming this symbiotic relationship, making plants, and then plants were falling right on the ground, and they were building up, and that's why we have oil today is because fungi hadn't developed much of a mechanism to degrade that waste. And so for a time, bones and all these things were building up, and fungi hadn't developed the chemical keys to break these things down. And so they were just building up and building up. And so now we have oil reserves, right? And that's why it's an unsustainable resource. But over time, fungi developed the enzymatic keys to be able to excrete these enzymes to break things down to make soil again. So completing the life cycle. They're at the beginning of stages of life and at the very end. They're kind of the doulas, and also they're at your deathbed, and help completing the circle of life. So death is not something that is a very comfortable topic for most people in North America, but it's something that fungi thrive in, and they also help create life as well. And it's something, we wouldn't have life without death, and so they're the stewards of that in our ecosystems. Did that answer your question?